I don't know what the food yet I have, so I'm not
Some
sure
of their
what.
instrumentation
what
and
we're
stuff
gonna
is
do.
here.
A lot of
They have a lot of old
Good.
stuff related to it.
Yeah, it's
Like,
good.
you know, band is what, the
Hey.
second oldest band?
You?
Second oldest in the country.
You get in there?
Yeah.
You come up my way.
Where are you?
Surprised you're here.
Yeah, we just had a concert, we had our opening, spring concert.
I
fixed it up. Lancaster Bible College.
Hi Drew, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing fine, I haven't locked myself in the elevator.
That's the next
Good.
one.
Good, good, good.
Going
I locked myself
to
in
bring
the elevator one
some
day.
artifacts in.
That's my favorite
From the band in here, so it's gonna be really nice for public meetings.
Hey, what are you doing?
It'll be nice if you get back.
Okay, stop it.
Yeah, I had that one.
Bill Snyder did it twice.
Was the,
So,
was the
so
elevator
thank you
working
again.
yet?
Yeah, it was working,
It
but
wasn't,
I wound
I'm
up,
so glad it finally got it.
well, what happened was the key
Somewhere
was
that
not
it could
turned
be
on.
at a better time than in my garage.
There was only one key,
It's Saturday, probably.
and I brought that key,
I've been out for 5 winters now.
Start,
somehow or other,
I guess.
there was a configuration that I was in and couldn't,
And of course, they travel just.
I guess there was no keys in the outside locks.
Gal.
Somehow or other.
So you have to, I've never used the elevator, for the lift. You have to have key at the top and the bottom for it to operate, is that right?
I think so.
I think one of the other will operate.
Well, the key's always in upstairs, right?
Well, we always have it in upstairs, so it might take.
Well, the building, remember,
I
down
almost
in
bought a
Nancy's
place
for a while in the elevator.
Yeah,
That's when the
Shop, I guess.
They
It
actually.
was north of Scottsdale, north of Scottsdale. And it always been babysitted.
How long was he in there?
Not very long.
One day, my wife to
I
To
think
make the move.
he called Will or I think it was twice or else he called
Really
both of us at the same
too.
time. It wasn't a panic thing, but if
No.
there's no one around, then you got a problem.
Yeah.
Well, you don't have a problem.
Round up here in the morning.
I mean, I feel sorry for it.
Is there, okay,
Yeah.
good.
The fire company.
Hello.
Good.
Good morning.
I thought I knew who you were.
Are you, yes, I flew off the ship.
Yeah, you would have moved
Behind the
my brother
brother
Frank.
You stopped in to see what
Anybody who had a master key has a master key.
I remember I started working at the bank, the Woodlawn Bank.
It used to be called the ATM, that's the master key. That's your connection. Actually, I still have one. And there's no reason for me to have one. You should have one.
You can turn back into that.
Before, like,
Take that away.
we were doing a slideshow, there's a story where that I needed to get back and forth.
Well, I'll take them off your hands.
Yes, I should have.
My dad was chief in the fire company when that truck
My
went.
ancestors bought land in the
Actually,
17th.
Wasn't sure the fire company
Works
was.
or
I Will know.
I know this thing, all our locks have changed. And,
We had Sweeties out there.
That's one out.
Well, you were having trouble there where
because I have a story.
You do?
Yeah, all right. I just, yeah,
I've got all kinds of physical evidence in the town.
the basement has a, like a half moon on it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they probably know. I don't know about the basement. I gotta recommend you have an
I'll
issue.
see what kind he's got there.
This is what we have with Amos.
For Amos,
It does
the
the
building or
Does
does
the
the
Amos
basement?
told me.
It does, yes.
But does the basement also?
Yes.
Well, he has a mix.
In New Jersey, and he and his wife, he was doing research on his.
So I think all.
I do remember that when we were doing construction, he had to work quite a lot of his time to get in and out. And I was painting by myself for a while,
Well, we even had subcontractors.
Yes, his son Miller.
Miller.
Yeah.
That's it. He lives in New Jersey. Yeah, when you were saying that, I was just trying to think. I was thinking, but I couldn't think of his name.
Well, we had that before, because we, the master gets us in all our rental properties. To me, that's part of our responsibility.
Yeah, in an old newspaper.
It's a perfect, oh, and I didn't realize that it actually goes. Because they got the stereo, part of the stereo.
Yeah.
It's funny,
And
stereo?
Yes.
So it's, you know.
This is before your time.
But I would agree that my dad said something about somebody that was there, about like Washington. Surmising, like, you know, nothing else. And my dad told me, it seems like it's the same, somebody from the same church.
Like the forest lights are like the 30s or 40s, and the walls, everything about it, if you look at that closet, that's what the whole world was like. It was a pretty scary room.
So right off the bat, you would say something that's very scary.
Really?
And then we ended up calling him like, how we got that nickname scary.
It was, I don't know the personal one, I just know my dad.
I don't have any
They were all over this, they were to find whatever, because they knew where everything was. There was a bathroom back there. I should, but I can't put it together.
I'm Bill Gable.
Bill Gable, okay. I knew the face, I recognized it, but I couldn't put it
Just
together.
good looking as ever, right?
Yeah, there you go. We all got the age.
Hello there, Peter Simon Girls. It's good to see you here
Billy, I
again.
guess it's not Billy Gabriel.
That's perfectly
Billy.
fine. That's what I was. When I was growing up,
find out if she was there when the truck.
because I was junior, my dad was William, Bill, and his aunts and uncles and older friends all called him Billy, and I thought that was great.
Yeah, okay.
Are you getting pictures?
I'm getting a movie of your back right now.
Oh, there's a lady up there, a short little lady at the bar, that worked at the hotel.
Oh, very
30
good.
years, she said. Oh, so you're filming now?
Yeah, I thought it's kind of nice to just get people wandering around.
Then you can have an idea who's been
They're
there.
far, and
That's
I
great.
don't know them to know when the house was built. Either way, it was his shape. And it was, my dad said it was murder. I started for 25 years. There's very little left.
Well, I ended up having like 10 different jobs.
Great, like Mark,
And then,
yeah, like, who was
that
don't come clean.
And that thing also.
That's before they had guns.
That's,
I said, I'm trying to get old.
well, I just find where they keep it.
Unnecessary. I don't know copper. Well, it was originally, we don't know if it's anymore.
Okay.
Mine refused to back up, and it does occasionally.
It could be copper, I don't know.
So I bought the original.
Put it in my house.
I went in to pay for it, his wife or something, he said, "Oh, my husband's truck." That's whose truck is it? I knew the truck.
Yeah. It's a little.
Yeah, they.
And she did not want to.
Originally, it was used to signal the transmission.
To this day, he still has it.
One door of this vodka, so you park on the hill.
The reason why I thank you very much. I could spin some more. I was here.
We're gonna have a video flow after a while.
Oh, yeah, next to it.
I gotta get the tour. Roughly of the town.
You read it, the more or tell you the box.
Great.
Because I had never played it.
Yeah, he has no
Oh, yeah.
Well, I wasn't sure if that's here. Sliding down that wall. I didn't even notice it until I said, feels like it's there. It's right across the street. Or.
Come from.
You know, he reacted.
Also, I just took down the information.
Because I'm gonna look up the.
The house is still there. That's the house.
Oh, okay. Yes, it is.
Mattel's not built yet.
Right, yeah.
It's still
Okay.
under the guard or whatever. Yeah, it's to the left.
So what is that?
Full side.
But some of the connections, and so the building has.
I was just thinking on the way out.
Aaron, when did you get the
I don't know if it's the real one. I don't know.
when the truck, Wilbur got sent the truck went through in 1970?
I have no job. I'm 60. 6 years old.
I remember when I was back when I was in I started running the city every day.
And I haven't looked very long.
It's based, and it says it's based on.
I've been you know me.
Did you ever
Take care of the radio. How does that reflect on?
Oh, yeah.
I'll send you what I have.
That's what
they
else.
changed.
And I heard. Yeah.
Where we go?
Yeah, I saw that too.
Well, that would have been 6 years. The first time that was during the day.
Started somewhere in the 75.
That was the second one. 68. Because I had turned 60 and I wasn't home.
That's where you're dropping off.
Oh, I thought you were coming for Sam. Oh, it looks like it's handmade, doesn't it? Yeah, I saw that. I saw that too. I saw that too.
It seemed like it was a again, the whole.
Like
Saturday night.
we're holding the area.
I'm
No, it's not that.
It's all like a so much
I saw it too. I did, that's
I'm so tickled.
I know it's great. Ray and Butch and
Well, I was gonna say, you have to have, you can't just go, you have to have, protection. Yeah, you have to be protected
he only realized once he looked at the street, I don't know what it was.
Yes, I was saying that I need to get this lady, but also very good. I and I don't understand. I just that's how it gets
And the relationship
Hey, oh, you do? What do you hide from me? No, she takes your money Okay. Yeah, right.
If you had it 10 years ago, you'd have a lot more older people. I mean, remember when the reunion was of the school, the Farrells?
Yes, I do.
And you can, I ever think of all the old
Yeah. It's a lot of people.
Hey, and you know, if you feel like you don't want to help this spring, you can wait till fall to rejoin too. You know.
That's what I was gonna have.
Just bring that music back when you come back, that's all. That way they have it. Now, normally we keep our music, but if you haven't used it, it's no use keeping keep it. Yeah, fall, we have usually 5 or 6 practices. Starting at the end of July, Sunday night.
That sounds good.
Because,
Get 5 or 6 practices.
well, that's how we all, yeah. It's like one lady told Pickle, I'll come and listen to you in the spring, you're better.
Oh my. That's funny. Probably true.
Well, who did you sing with? Ed and Jim?
No, I sang with Ed.
Ed, I thought, yeah. He passed, right? Yeah. Yeah, I knew it wasn't long ago.
And that group of us was together for
Who else was it?
Rick Ashley,
Okay.
kind of got together through the last together.
Found who's going to talk. We have a registration here.
Oh, that's good.
I thought we should have a record of who's here.
I think this part could be considered early on.
Everything, this is like everything.
While you 2 people are here, if you want to sign in, that way we have record of who was here. Okay. We won't charge you anything.
I'm not camping out, but I will sign it.
Well, that's just too bad.
I always meet you there. What, one day or 2? One. Okay.
So we used to eat there, we used to eat the football hotel on Friday night. Yeah.
Let's get it out of the way.
I don't appreciate it. It doesn't seem like there's a dollar.
Whoever gets that.
You're out there.
So anyways, that's
Loose, at that time it was 73. 73.
I guess it's not easy. It's kind of like a crowd. But it
I got it, yeah. You didn't sign that.
You got them big sucker ones on, they didn't have to trigger all of them.
Well, we want to keep track of everything else, we better do this too.
One leg, that's what happened to the other one. Yep.
What time are you going to start? Okay.
We have a Saturday.
Was that the morning paper or the evening paper? Because somebody was coming late to work, they turned the paper on.
Yeah, at our last class reunion, or get together, there, a whole bunch of us.
See Jake's
blue
picture
balls.
outside
Yeah, I
there?
did. Harold was there.
I always look for it.
Thank you, sir. Harold was there. Yeah, he didn't graduate, but they invited him. And it was Bob Campbell, Jeff Martin, Harold, myself, I forget who. Bill would have been there, but he wasn't there talking about it. Yeah, it was just old story. He wasn't in there. He was Donnie. I don't know if he was there or not. Well, he had a heart attack. Oh, is that right? See, we get together back at Ranks, third Wednesday, and I haven't been there for 2 months. But last week that I was there, he was there, then he had a heart attack. I'm gonna ask him to sign in, and I'll put it over. That way we have a little record. Who's here?
I have the old pictures, and I've taken
Yeah, I was like, the little lady. I think she said 30. I don't think she said 5 or 6. I think she said 30.
Yep, I just left that laying there.
Okay, that's fine, thank you. She did sign.
I did, I was the first one. Okay, go ahead.
Get that lady up front there.
She had a picture with me. So of course we were on the other side. And I would look at her. She never spoke.
The kids were always, they said they were embarrassed.
Where was that uniform? My dad's grandpa had a warehouse. He worked for
Oh, that's my brother.
That must have been. I don't want it to get like 222.
There was a door, it was a picture, but the door was on the original door.
Yeah, that's it. He built a warehouse. Over here for real.
Because I can remember in the middle of the night, going through the door and separated, go to the bathroom. I remember separated. Just in the hallway, just in the hallway, at the top of the steps.
There was a place.
You got on leave, and we don't have a sick in the hospital. He said, I don't know if you'll be back, would you? He said,
Well, I don't want to.
but you're out there. You're out
No, I'm not. Right at the last.
Well, anytime
know the bar things.
Yeah, interesting. No, I gotta give you something like.
Well, they came well, the other
And if you remember,
just like everybody else. At that time, it was just Sunday school. Silver Springs, Maryland. Yeah, she was fenced there, special ed. At that time, it was not section
Hey, how you doing? Oh, not too bad. You know, getting old. Yeah, well, he did until the end.
She's coming up here. At that time, we had
$3 steam pounds for $1.
Good for you.
You might be able to get 3 clams now for $1.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You guys, I know. Okay, I gotta get those folks to sign in. Just sign in right here.
Hey, Jeff. Jeff, she did the tax on the election with Karen.
My name's Ida.
Ida.
I look familiar. I said, where have I seen her? Yes, both here in New Orleans and in Cherry Hill. I love history.
Well, because you're out in
Yes.
Okay.
Just love the history.
I hated history in school. Drew Reno, I saw you at the last presentation.
Yes.
Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you again, too. You're a big history buff, too.
Now I am, but man, in school, that I always much. Oh, I hated it.
Yeah, I just went down there.
And we're members anyway, so they have all
Thank
these.
you so much. Yep. Just sign.
Well, actually, it doesn't feel leanable. It doesn't feel, this ball must be much heavier than the standard. Because I think about that when I first touched it, I was like, this is the one. I know, but.
Yeah, and one person.
All right, I'll
Normally, my right
He's one of the rich.
You know what's funny is, I was trying to name them all, Andy was the best, and, Siren,
He's like very ill.
she called me before I don't know when. She called me before she So I remember,
But he's not
so,
Eric Davenport.
Eric Davenport was, Richard Sampson.
Go ahead. Let me sit there.
We were at Ben's place, so we were there.
Yeah, I think a couple times I was there, a couple times away.
I remember we used this space, this area, this space
I know.
just saw it.
I heard it. So, straight to the source. West Reading. Hampton, 6 funerals, plus a medical treatment. He's already taken possession of the 3 properties that can run.
Well,
He's already done. Changes made. Administration rules.
well, who's gonna stay there? Lauren and Samantha.
They don't know. Because they said March. Because some of the stuff that's going to take place. So he had to roll then. Like, he offered it to Lauren. Fred offered it to Lauren. Because I thought Lauren was being groomed to take it over.
Well, between Lauren and Samantha, both of them, because they each had their own location.
But he gave. He went to Lauren and said, to Sal. Whatever. But his move was, I sort of
Yeah.
Well, here is that.
They may have also had thank you, though. I do appreciate that.
Talk to Randy Stolzberg. Coming out I'll let you know. Because I said I talked to my brother. No.
You have nothing? I figured since the high end is still on the side, that you guys would have the equipment. Okay. So they did not have to consult. How about overtime? Is that one out? See, that's part of it.
You're allowed to walk around and tell people.
Oh, no. See,
Okay, so, all right. So Brock was so
I just got a phone call.
You know this blue ball boy, don't you?
Oh, yeah. How could you
I was gonna say, how could you forget him?
Okay, I understand.
like the size.
You always hurt from what you
Okay.
People coming through.
See, I don't know.
Dogs. I mean, that's just.
But I'm like,
Good idea.
top of my street.
There comes another one.
That's just.
Did you get the invitation?
And I am sorry. And I think it's more than I know, isn't that horrible? I know, when they said that the first time, I was like, I know, but they're like, like you're one of our up there. But definitely have made every effort to get it. But sometimes that I definitely want to share. But yeah, there's a well, there wasn't an envelope to put it like a 1+ or anything. There was no reply thing, so I didn't. I wasn't sure what to do. So it's still sitting in my case. You know, I see things change like but I mean, it's like forever, and his children were they're retirement age. They must be right now, right? Are they in their 80s? I was thinking they were. I was thinking they were close to my parents' age. Just why I was asking.
Would you agree with all this?
Well, what I've seen is that at this point, true, I haven't seen it in years, but still. Yes. Well, we don't hear enough about blue ball or Terry Hill. It's
Terry Hill has their own.
Have they? Okay, because they were part of our 3 years, but I thought they had. No, Denver does. Yeah, Terry Hill does. No, Terry Hill does? Terry Hill. I don't know.
Oh, I know.
Well, some of it is like, is this the brain fog that comes before dementia? because dementia is so heavy in different angles. Not only, like my mom had dementia there just for about a year before she died, but my health, there's a whole bunch of my health things that lead to dementia. And it's like wow. And so lately, it's concerning. But my bipolar stuff and my anxiety has been stronger. I'll shrink. I'll slouch like it's all right.
I'm just thinking about taping that up.
Ron and I worked here.
Might be something in the closet upstairs.
At midnight, the lights.
Wait.
You got down the corner down there. Left that fury out. Turn the lights out. Get the police come in there. Molly Day and
I need to find a place to stand on that.
You got the best seat in the house.
Well, I went and got it myself.
Yeah, 58 Golden. Golden Fury, yeah, 2 floors. We were really best buddies in school. Good guy. Yes, we still have the format.
You don't have to stop talking yet. I'll let you know. You scared him.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you couldn't even see my face, so how did that happen? I guess we'll kind of get started. Why not? First of all, thank you all very much for being here. This is, for Blue Ball people, this is a wonderful thing. How many of you lived in Blue Ball at one point in your life? Raise them up there. Yeah, that's pretty good. Me too. So, it's nice to see you all, and we're glad that you're here to help us kind of celebrate a piece of history from Blue Ball finding its way to the New Holland Historical Society's museum. It's pretty cool. We'll talk a little bit more about that shortly. If you haven't signed up in the log, which is back there, Ida has it. If you haven't signed that, sometime before you leave, please do so. We'd like to perhaps think of a way to thank you for being here today. This is the second time we've used this room for a program like this. It previously was one of the rental spaces that the museum had, but several months ago we decided, hey, why don't we try and see if we can use it for our purposes, especially for small meetings like this, where we don't necessarily have to think about 150 people showing up. So we did wonder what would happen if 150 people showed up today. Probably wouldn't have been good. So we're here today with the kind of crowd that I think we were thinking works well for a space this size. It gives folks a chance to just chat and visit and look around at some of the things that give you a flavor of what's upstairs. If you're interested in looking upstairs when we're done with this little presentation, I'm sure that Don Horning would be glad to take you up there and show you around. We'd love for you to see the rest of the museum and spend a little time there and whet your appetite enough that you decide to come back. We're good. Have a little program, slideshow here about the back bar from the Blue Wall Hotel and the Mirror. And being a Blue Wall boy, we're gonna start a little bit before that.
I had a briefcase.
And take a little bit of a look at the history of Blue Ball, and in particular the Blue Ball Hotel. And this is not any kind of a professional presentation, so don't expect it.
Don't judge.
This back bar was donated by William Keene. Donated. And there were some other folks who donated time and effort to actually get it here. We couldn't put that in the back of a car or a pickup truck, so just the logistics involved in getting it here was quite a big deal. And actually it was too tall to fit in here, which was another, we had to figure a bunch of stuff out just to make this a reality. And fortunately it all came together with the help of a lot of people. We'll talk a little bit more about Mr. Keene and the donation in a bit. Any minute now. Any minute now. Maybe not this minute.
Techie can't even get it going.
Do you have to be more in front of it?
Oh, I have to turn this on.
Oh.
There we go.
Told you this wasn't a professional thing.
There you go. Whoop, back. Yay.
So, the Blue Ball Hotel, George, you're getting ready to come up here, was built on a piece of ground that was bought in 1766 by Robert Wallace from Jacob Weaver II. And that was part of the original Jacob Weaver tract that was established in 1723. And George is going to point out where that original Weaver tract was, in case you're interested in knowing where that was. Take it
Well,
away.
that tract of land ran from 897, which here we are in the center of Blue Ball. And if we go out here, here is 897 heading towards Terry Hill. Well, it was this complete tract of land here, which paralleled 23, that this Jacob Weaver II sold. How he got 12 acres over on this side, I don't know, because the original 1723 tract was all together as one slab, and it ran almost up against Tower Road. And I need to say that this Jacob Weaver I would have been my great uncle.
That's why he's up here.
That's why I'm here. My ancestors owned, George Weaver owned this tract out here, and the other, Henry Weaver, owned this tract here. So there were 3 Weavers, and a Martin involved there also, but that's where the land was divided into those 4 segments. So, yeah, that goes back to, and I assume that this Robert Wallace is from Wallacetown.
Yep, that's the guy.
That's the guy? Now, I don't know where he got all his money, but he built
Wallacetown.
quite a home up there in Wallacetown.
We have a question.
Where's-
Where's Wallacestown?
Wallacetown is between Town Hall and John Ewell's, up on top of the hill there.
Wow.
Remember that old, there's a big, beautiful stone house up there, and it's really divided, it's 2 segments to it, but it's still there with original fireplaces in it. And I stopped in one day just to get a nose full of the place, and they took me in, and the woman that was there claimed that Abraham Lincoln's ancestors slept there in Wallacetown one time. Whether that's true or not, I don't know.
The
She had
Wallace,
nothing
one
to
of the
prove it.
Wallaces was married to Abraham Lincoln's sister.
There you go,
Yeah,
there you go. And what year was
Wallace
that?
was married
You have
to
a
Abraham
date
Lincoln's
associated
sister.
with that?
He was his
What's that?
personal
You have a date
physician.
associated with that?
I don't, Ken Sensnick's the one that knows that story.
There you go, well, it's
Lincoln
fact.
named one of his sons after William Wallace.
What
And
was
he was
that?
his personal physician.
What did you say?
I said, William Wallace grew up in that house, and he moved to Springfield, Illinois, and he married the sisters, one of the Todd sisters. He was brother-in-law to Lincoln. He was Lincoln's personal physician, and Lincoln named one of his children after him. It was a William Wallace Lincoln.
So ended my story.
Nice round of applause for George. And Brian and other contributors. See, this is kind of a casual thing. We're gonna have a good time, not like sit there and can't do anything. So the little red arrow is pointing approximately to where that tract of land was and where the Blue Ball Hotel was eventually built. And once again, built by this guy, it was built at the intersection of two Indian trails. The French Creek Path, which you can see highlighted there in yellow, and I believe that's the 322.
23.
23. French Creek Path, 23.
23 in the slides.
Okay. And the Paxton one heads towards Harrisburg, so that would have been the other one. Where those two crossed, that's where the hotel was built in 1766. And instead of putting a sign out front, he hung a blue ball. As much as I'd like to tell you that's the original blue ball, it ain't. But it looked kind of like that. And gives you the same impression.
Do you know why he called it Blue Ball?
No.
My grandmother says that the Indian name for the creek through there sounded like Blue Ball, but it meant babbling brook in the Indian tongue.
Very good to know.
Don't know if it's fact.
I've heard that also.
I had heard that too a long time ago. I didn't know that. So amongst blue ball people, that's a truth. That's a fact. I'm not gonna argue with us about that one because it's pretty cool. And something about that creek was called Blue Google. Ever
Google's.
hearing anything about that? Blue Google.
Well, I think it's the same thing as what he's referring
Yep.
to.
Town revolved around the inn. It was the Blue Ball Inn originally, not the Blue Ball Hotel, for nearly a century, and the town was originally known as Earltown. And in 1833, it officially changed its name to Blue Ball because of the Blue Ball Hotel and the Blue Ball. This is an interesting tidbit.
I know.
During Prohibition, the inn changed its name to the Blue Ball Hotel. So I guess they thought maybe they could escape some of the Prohibition issues. I doubt that they did, but fortuitous timing. Here's some old drawings that I found. This top one is from a book called Old Lancaster and was drawn by Charles Carlson, I'm sorry. I have no idea that that's accurate. It doesn't matter, it's a nice picture. Enjoy it, look at it, say, yeah, that's pretty cool. The bottom one is even less accurate because they certainly didn't have that sign there. And the blue ball's a little bogus, but that came from the Lancaster County Historical Society.
The original hotel was a log hotel that is in the west parking lot of the current hotel.
Okay.
It was a log hotel. I don't know where they had the ball hanging.
Okay.
Again, from my great-grandfather.
And this part, I believe, was an add-on that was a store for a number of years. And that might have been a Geist family thing. Not sure about that. But it was the tavern and a store together in one building. So like Aaron Jacob was talking about, you can see there's two different pieces there. They didn't stay together, but that's how they started. Sitting on a porch at the old Blue Ball Hotel, oldest known photograph that we've been able to come up with. If any of you have an older one, we'd love to be able to take a picture of it, or even more wonderfully, if you'd like to give it to us, we'd like that too. But we'd like to be able to add that to our artifacts, if you know of an older
I'm on
picture.
stand.
There's this chair right here, if you need to sit.
Hey, this is a picture inside the bar. Don't have any idea when that is. It's certainly nothing recent. You can see there's the back bar that the bottles are sitting on in the back. That's this back bar. That mirror is that mirror. But you can see there were other cabinets and maybe another mirror beside bracketing this one. Another picture of the bar room. This is the dining room in the Blue Ball Hotel. How many of you were ever in the dining room of the Blue Hotel? How many even knew there was a dining room? That's a bar. Oh, it's a dining room. And for a long time, they had really good food there. Really good. So this is a picture of them applying brick to the exterior of the Blue Ball Hotel. I never knew it with brick. Do any of you remember it as a brick building? So I don't know the timing of that.
I think the permastone that they put on was popular in the 50s. So it seems like before, I don't think, the stuff they put on is a fake stone.
Yep.
Because we had used some in our business, and it's called permastone. And I think that was at the very earliest in the 50s. So I think it was brick up until that point, probably.
And here's a picture of the hotel. Well, I'm guessing it's now in the 30s, most likely, because it's called the hotel and not the inn or tavern any longer. But that's what, and it also had a story added to it at one time. At one time,
I
it
think
was
that's when the brick was added.
Is that right? That time frame? So that's what it looked like. Looks pretty nice. Here's a picture of the Blue Ball Hotel from 1915. Now I have a little uncertainty about that because it's called the hotel. And remember, we saw earlier from some research that it changed the name in Prohibition.
That's a 1915 postcard, I can guarantee that.
So apparently the story about it changing the name during Prohibition is bogus. Because this predates Prohibition by...
And it was a brick building for many years prior to that. In fact, before about 1912 or 13, it was a two-story brick building. And then around 1912 or 13, they added a third floor. That's when they upgraded everything. That's probably when this bar was put in.
Okay.
But it was a brick building long before that.
Bill, that's also a picture of the first ball that's hanging there, and that was a copper ball. And you can see that the dents and stuff in it, that eventually they replaced that with this ball. So this, we believe, is the second ball that hung in front of that hotel.
This is a photo of trucks lined up, parked along 23 and 322 in front of the old Blue Ball Hotel.
I saw that, Bill, and I'll just make conjecture. They have tobacco bales on, and the tobacco warehouse was down next to the school, across from the fire hall. And that could have been receiving day for tobacco, that they were backed up that far, because when I went to school there, the trucks backed up for quite a long ways as they were staging to unload their tobacco, because they only received tobacco on certain days.
Very good. See all these little tidbits that are coming out here that are adding to the conversation and knowledge about stuff. This is after the application of the stone exterior. That's the way I remember the hotel looking. And there you, the arrow is pointing at the ball. This is the day the truck stopped in for a drink. How many of you remember that happening? You're a true blue ball person if you remember that. That was on May 7th, 1960. And, go ahead.
I just reread the article in the Lancaster newspaper that described the accident. Some of you, I'm sure, know it, but the tractor trailer was heading east on 322 down the hill, and a vehicle heading west on 322 made a left-hand turn in front of the truck. The truck swerved to miss the car and hit a station wagon, and then headed for the wall and over the wall and into the bar room. The bartender was standing at the west end of the bar, and there was a gentleman at the other end of the bar, and there were 4 people injured. 2 of them went to the hospital, and 2 of them were treated at the scene. Jake Zerby was the owner at that time. He was in the kitchen working, and a guy by the name of Bud Westerhoff was the bartender. At the time of the accident, a bowling league was having a banquet in the dining room, and Jake asked I think the state police reported to this. Jake asked
Not just Johnny Gaiman.
He asked the people to leave the truck where it was in the bar until the bowling league banquet was over.
I brought a notebook with the story, Wilbur, and there's 4 pictures. And one of the pictures, I'll leave it up here on the counter for anybody that's interested, is one of the pictures you can see the skid marks for the truck as it's going in. To put it in historical perspective though, in the late 50s there's a grassroots movement to get a traffic light at that intersection, and they were dragging their feet on it. And after this accident, things started happening more quickly. That was a very dangerous intersection. There were often accidents there.
How many of you remember that? Yep. And remember that Johnny Gaiman used to stand out on 322 in front of the bank and like stop traffic so that people could come out to drive them. And he was not particularly well liked by truck drivers who were coming down 322 trying to get up ahead of steam to get through the intersection and up the hill on the other side of 322. And the story is that he loved to stop these guys just to tweak them a little.
Oh, not Johnny. No. Johnny wouldn't have done that.
Johnny did. Billy Raffensperger and I fired a model rocket at his house once.
Upstairs, we have a display on the 4 townships that make up the Elanco School District. And part of the East Earl Township display includes a picture of Chief Gaiman getting sworn in at the Lancaster Courthouse with some of his henchmen. And the article...
He said henchmen, I did not say that.
The article says, it quotes him, John Gaiman, as saying at that time he had the 2nd largest police force in Lancaster County. The largest one was Manheim Township. Now we're not talking about the city, but the largest police department was Manheim Township, and he had the 2nd largest, and I think he had like 15 or 16 officers, some of them part-time, but he was chief of East Earl Township and also Carnarvon Township at the same time for a while.
You said it. Willis Shirk was in Carnarvon.
Yep. Willis Shirk worked for him. His wife was Polly. She worked at the town hall.
Well, Polly Shirk! I used to play with her son, and you know where they lived on New Street?
Yeah.
Polly Shirk? When he was at my house, she would go outside and yell for him to come home, and you could hear her. Now that's serious. Yes.
Okay, in the 1960s, the Mennonite boys all had hot rods. My husband was one of those hot rodders. And they would get after Pappy Gaiman because the Mennonite boys with their hot rods did not like Pappy Gaiman because he was always trying to stop them. One of the stories that they tell is that Pappy Gayman was parked by an oak tree, and these Mennonite boys, a group of them, went up, got a chain around the back axle, wrapped it around the tree, and then drove past him in their hot rods. And he tried to take off after him, and he couldn't. So fast forward to the 1980s, these Mennonite boys had a reunion. And they invited Pappy Gayman to come. And he said, I cannot because they have too much against me. Don't feel safe. But it was interesting to hear these Mennonite boys tell these stories of Pappy Gayman and how they feel God saved their lives with their hot rods. Yeah, Pappy Gayman had a
I
reputation.
always wondered if there was any truth to that story. So, I mean, I've heard it many times, but so it sounds like there might be something there.
I can tell you.
It's true.
It happened at Union Grove.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is that right?
I know some of the guys that were involved with it.
There you go, it doesn't get any better than this. You watch the History Channel, you watch the Discovery Channel, you wanna come here for this kind of stuff.
I'm not sure if he didn't lose the axle.
Yeah, it did. It pulled
It pulled the axle out.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
How about that?
I wasn't there.
There's one guy that was no,
Most of them are living there.
Aaron is the one that.
And this is just to show you that that wasn't the first truck accident near the Blue Ball Hotel.
Another blue ball personality, Dr. John Martin, treated the injured at that wreck.
He lived up on where Luke Sharp
Yeah.
bought the house, I think, eventually. 1322. How many of you remember any of the sales stable stuff at Blue Ball? What we may not realize is that up until the fire, which we'll see on the next slide, the Blue Ball livestock sale was supposedly the biggest one east of the Mississippi. And larger than New Holland, and the reason that New Holland grew to what it became was because the Blue Ball stuff burned down. And that was the end of it in Blue Ball. But apparently there was a huge amount of trading up through the Civil War even at the sign of the Blue Ball, which the hotel was right close to there. So if you read auctions about livestock that's for sale, they almost always included a reference to the Blue Ball Hotel. Somebody was selling stuff near the Blue Ball Hotel, so it was part of that. Two different owners, two different generations of the sales stable.
Bill, there's also two different locations.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, George Diller's, the early one, was west of the hotel. And then after that burned down in 1909, John Bears was east of the hotel.
Okay. So this is the one that talks about the one Diller that you said
Diller
burned down.
burned down in 1909, and I think John Bears burned down, was it 1916? Is anybody, I'm not sure.
But then it was rebuilt again.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I remember the little sales stable down along the creek, Blue Google, Paul Martin had that stuff down there, and Harold Gayman actually chased me back there once with his car. Because there were a handful of us sleeping, camping out along the creek, and we were loitering out at the wall in front of where the bank parking lot used to be there. Just sitting there, decided to chase us. We didn't have change or anything, we were completely innocent. There's a little look at what the aftermath of the fire. And this is the end of the Blue Ball Hotel in 1997. That's when it was torn down. That's the article from the Sunday News on July 13th, 1997. So this is on the east side of the hotel, looking up the hill towards New Holland. Now, pay attention. That's that same picture, just kind of blown up so you see only the picture. This is what it looked like when it was torn down in 1997. What happened? That's what it looks like today.
Oh, my.
So now you know where that is.
Wow.
We never, Souders, Hardscape's been doing a bunch of fixing up down there.
Now.
Where the car wash is.
Just before they tore the hotel down, Amos Stolzfus used to rent a room on the second floor. And he moved out because a brick from the roof came down through the third floor into the second floor and landed on his bed. So it was in pretty bad shape. It was not a fixable. It was not.
Yeah.
Couldn't fix it, is what they were saying, because of the cost.
There, that was Amos Fisher.
You are right, Amos Fisher.
Amos
Wrong
Fisher.
name. Yep.
This is a story about the Historic Society getting the ball. Why don't you tell that story there?
Okay,
Briefly.
we were just starting the museum, didn't have any money, and this came up, the ball came up on auction down at the Zimmerman Farm.
Marty Zimmerman's
23.
farm.
Yeah. So at that time, Don Welsh, Don Horning, myself, and a couple other guys, Brian, I don't know if you might have been one of them, but we put $200 in a pot and went to the sale hoping to buy the ball. We didn't have enough money. So a antique dealer bought it. The next week we were talking with Menno Eby Jr. and told him about this, and he said, I wish I would have known that you were going to try to buy that, I would have helped you. He said, my mother always said, this ball belongs to the community. It shouldn't be, sold off somewhere else. So we go back to the antique dealer, and in a week's time, he doubled his money.
Oh, my gosh.
So, and that was thanks to Menno Eby. So that really was a big lift on Menno's part, and he's a good friend of the museum.
Menno said he didn't want to meet his mother in heaven if he didn't have this ball.
How many of you remember Helen Eby? So you can believe that he would say that. So this is another huge piece of blue ball history that we're fortunate enough to have in our collection. Now we're going to turn it over to Mr. Horning. This would be you, Mr. Horning.
Oh, that's me.
There's two warnings there.
Okay, I'm going to go through my slides quickly.
And that's the one that answered. That's the right.
So, we got a message through our website, probably in July timeframe of 2024, from a gentleman by the name of Bill Keene, who Bill Gable picked up the message, reported to the board that we had an opportunity to get this back bar free of charge if we would provide a home for it. We did not have space for it upstairs, and at the time we were talking to the New Holland Band about bringing together the artifacts that the band museum has. So we kind of melded the two together, and we decided to take over this space, give up the rental income that we were getting here, and use it for a meeting room. What I'm going to do is give you a picture of Linda Davis. Linda is here. There she is. Linda is the sister of the owner of the bar, and she worked with us numerous times to help us make up our mind whether we wanted to accept this or not. And so we did that, we made the decision, and it took us about about 6 months for us to get this in the position it's in now. But without question, we owe a debt of gratitude to Linda and Bill for working with us on this and giving this to us without charge.
So thank you very much, Linda.
My mother's very happy too about this.
Please take our thanks along again to your brother. I really appreciate that. Later on, she may have some further things to say if we decide to do that. Okay, here is an illustrious group of people. This is myself, George Weaver, and Scott Weaver. We were the ones dispatched to take a look at the furniture. It was in a back alley garage. What was the name of the street it was on? Do you remember, Linda?
I'm sorry, did he say
The-
something?
Yeah,
The
he said
street.
Grant Street.
Street it's on.
Grant.
Street the storage area was on.
It's on Grant Street?
Grant Street, yeah.
Grant.
So, we went to look at it, and here's what we found. Now, and the picture doesn't do justice to what the cabinets looked like at the time, because if you're in a storage in a garage for 28 years or whatever it was, why you understand that you're gonna pick up a lot of grime and things like that, dust and dirt. So that's what it looked like. And you can see Scott pointing out where the bar separates. The bar is in two pieces. We didn't have to break it apart to move it. However, you will notice that there's the top of the bar includes some drawers. The drawers, two of them are back behind the screen here. But what we discovered was we didn't have enough room from floor to ceiling to place the bar as it was provided and include the mirror. So, moving along, again, another picture of that bar with the drawers in it. There was a cash drawer there. There was space for which we believe is a cash register here. That's where they probably had the cash register. Here we have another company that I want to give credit to, and I don't think Dave Martin is here. Is that right? He owns Martin's CFS. They are a moving company, and I met them through Garden Spot Village. They do a lot of moving of people that move into Garden Spot and out of it and so forth. So it turns out that he is, his dad is from the Blue Ball East Earl area. Jake.
Aaron Martin. Aaron's dad was Jake. That's.
Yep. So I went to him. Well, actually, I didn't know him. I went. His warehouse is located in the old RCA building in Lancaster, and I went in there, and I met a guy by the name of Ed Burton, who's in charge of sales for Martin's, and told him the story, and he, I told him we're a volunteer organization, all this, and he agreed to cut us a break on moving this. Well, being the way I am, I went back again and to see if we could do a little better. By that time, he had talked to the president of the company, who was David Martin, and David really fell in love with this idea. I mean, he was all in on this. I think it helped that I live at Garden Spot Village, because that's maybe might help solidify a relationship. But I can't give Martin's enough credit for what they did. They agreed to move the cabinets and the mirror, and again, that sucker is heavy. It is amazing how two men carried that. But
they agreed to move it from the Lancaster site to their warehouse, where, I'm gonna show you the next group of people that come in here, but they moved it to the warehouse, and then we were able to work on the cabinets at the warehouse, and then they moved it from there out here. At the same time, they moved the tabletop down to Garden Spot Village Woodshop. And that's where Garden Spot Village did their work on the top of the bar. Hi, come on in. So they not only moved it once, they moved it twice. They went down there, and then when it came time to install the mirror, they came out again and installed that. It was really helpful.
Did you mention how much the mirror actually weighs?
Yeah, I'm going to show you a slide
Did
here.
you say how much though?
Yeah, I said it was close to 5.
No, you didn't.
Oh, I didn't?
No.
I'm sorry.
So please mention it.
Okay, 500 pounds.
It's heavy.
There's a glare here, I can't see what I'm looking at. Okay, here, there, I'm not showing you
You'll
them
get there.
carrying the mirror up to, in the truck. They're carrying the cabinets, but not the mirror. Okay, here we're out at the warehouse, and Garden Spot Village sent 3 men, the woodshop did. They are, Art Johnson's in the center, Lloyd Ziegler's on the left, and Larry Nepper's in the middle. Those guys cut off the drawers from the bottom of the tabletop. Here they're in the wood shop working on that top. They did a lot of work on that. And there's another shot of that.
Wow.
Here's the cabinet sitting in our room back here where we did the refinishing work. They told us what to do. And here is the mirror coming out of the room, and here is the stuff that we use to clean the thing up. I want you to notice the guy in the picture on the right. He's not sleeping. He's actually working. He's actually working on cleaning up the cabinets. The super secret ingredients were 1,000 grain steel bowl, less toil. There was Dove soap and feed and wax. That was the final application to kind of feed the wood and put it in a nice condition. Here, the cabinets are moved out and put in place.
Press again.
Go back, go back.
What?
Go back.
Back?
That was quick.
Yeah.
So that was
Weighed 500 pounds.
The mirror.
We're not hanging the mirror, but the cabinet. Oh,
17 feet long.
The real hang-up that we had was the ceiling is not perfectly straight. So you can see that there's a little bit of an angle there in the mirror. And so we were never certain until we actually placed it that it was going to fit.
Whoa.
Press it again.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Oh.
Terrifying. That would have been terrifying.
Oh my god.
This is an old mirror, and that was another worry.
oh my.
All right, yeah, I think we gotta come down my way a little bit, right? Chuck?
Yep.
Okay.
The guy all the way on the
About another half
right
inch or
at the
so.
mirror is Dave Martin, the president of Martin's Moving. So again, we really thank Martin Movers for what they did.
Yeah, I need about 3/4 of an inch.
Yep. My way.
towards me.
There, they're right.
Right, a little bit to the right.
Right head, right there, pretty good. You can be pretty right there. That's okay, though. We get that line, did you okay?
That's it.
Okay, so you wanna,
No, there's a couple more for you, I think.
okay. Finishing touches, again, wood shop guys.
Screwing it into some wooden blocks that were put in the wall.
Yeah, we were really
To hold
concerned
it.
about that too. So, we really appreciate the work. The Garden Spot Village Wood Shop has done a number of things for us that they're really a very valuable resource. Finished product, there you go.
It's beautiful. It's gorgeous.
Oh,
There they are.
the Motley Crew.
That's a Don Reese photo, Donald Reese, shopping
Now,
news.
and now one more.
Story time.
Okay.
You can just put that down somewhere. Okay, folks. This is important stuff. Now, we're hoping that any of you that have a memory or a story to contribute about the Blue Ball Hotel in any way, shape, or form, and thank you very much for contributing as this is rolled along. This is great. But now, I think there's someone here that you worked there for 30 years. Can you hand me my phone over? My phone's over. Please tell your story.
I didn't work there for 30 years.
Oh, liar. Go ahead.
Now, I'm Ruthie Cashweiler. I worked at Blue Ball Hotel from about 1968 to probably sometime in 1970. Jake and plus Zerby owned it when I worked there. And they were a lovely family to work for, really nice people. We had customers that would come in there. I don't know if any of you have ever eaten at Blue Ball, but they served sirloin steaks on a platter that hung out over the side for like $4. And you could have fed a family with the sirloin steak. Wilbur was talking about the hot beef sandwiches and French fries that would fill the same size platter. The food was, people would come from New York, New Jersey, Maryland, Delaware. On a weekend, there was 5 waitresses. And I would say each of those waitresses had 10 or 12 tables from like 4 o'clock till 10.
Wow.
We opened it, I mean, the kitchen was open all from 10 o'clock in the morning till 10 o'clock at night. We sometimes had customers that would come in at 9:45 and order, and Jake would say, "Can't you keep those customers out that come in at that time?" And I said, "They're local people." He said, "They know better." But it was a nice place to work, good food, and people came from miles away to eat there. Okay.
Thank you. Just kind of pop up and say what's on your mind, unless it's derogatory.
Geist are up over there, maybe they have some.
Yeah. My name's Bob Geist. My mom and dad had the hotel in the early 50s, which would have been probably 1950 to 57. Some of the memories, let me see, the fox chases, That was always a good memory. The best, I guess, was my late brother, which would have been Ray, passed away a couple of years ago. We had a tin, and we put some old baseball cards in one of the loose bricks of the hotel. And I don't know if, when they tore it down, if anybody found them or not. If they did, they'd probably be millionaires today. The truck, I wanted to always think of when that truck hit the hotel. I guess we missed that by a few years. Other than that, the only memories I had is when my mom, she hated it. Because when they had the fox chases, she always had the honors to make all the sandwiches and prepare everything, and then they'd all be down and back, getting in fights and getting drunked up. And so other than that,
How many people remember the fox chases?
My grandpa Zemer supplied the foxes sometimes.
Is that right?
Used to keep them in a cage in the garage.
used to keep the foxes downstairs in the crates ready for the chase. Every Sunday, I believe they used to have them. Sunday was the hotel, or Saturday was the hotel, and Sunday was the fox chases. Wasn't much to do back then, but.
Who knows anything about the turtle snapper suit?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, we got to remember that.
Jake made that. And then there was a man in Bowmansville, Horace Good, made the snapper suit too. But I think Jake and Horace probably caught those snappers, that they made the snapper suit, but it was popular.
I have the recipe for the snapper suit. Items in order of quantity with no values of what those quantities, no amounts of it.
Oh, no.
They wouldn't give it to me. I wanted it.
Anybody else have any stories or memories that you care to share? People are certainly enjoying this. This is our boy George again. You remember him cleaning the cabinet with vigor.
This might be very interesting to many of you. It's a napkin that Jake and Flossie made when they served their meals down there. Yeah, I'm sure you remember serving with this napkin, right? So will you read what's on there? What does it say?
Tuck yourself under your chin this napkin, and yourself clean, don't be so sloppy. Did I do okay?
You did great. And of course, by the way, it's Serby for us local people. It's not Serby, it's Serby. This napkin also says, hello everyone, eat wonderful good, enjoy it.
Yeah, sure.
And down at the bottom it says, take me, mit you, and whom bowl with or come home, come again soon.
Later soon.
They were definitely Dutch. You knew they were from Bowmansville or back there in that area of Denver. But I just found this on the internet just a week ago.
Oh my God.
And it came from Iowa. Somebody out there put it on the internet.
Oh my
So
word.
this is really a neat piece of history. There you go.
How'd they get it?
I have no idea. It ended up on, I Googled like Blue Ball or Easter Township or what, and you never know what's gonna come up
Oh
for
God,
sale.
now you're gonna be doing that.
And there, this piece came up for sale.
Wow. In Iowa, wow.
Other than that, do you have somebody to talk about the jug band?
Let her flicker.
Well, Jake Zerby had a lot of musical talent in him. He was part of, he was related to the Zerby sisters, you know, Dot and Sis and little Mary Ann and Curly. And they were very popular on radio, both the Reading station, WEU, and Lancaster, WGAL. But here we have Jake Zerby with the Zerby, they called the Die Schnitzel Jug Band. And here's a picture of them. And you can tell many of them, the names are here, you're welcome to look at it. But when Jake would get towards the end of the day, or maybe after the end of the day, every now and then Floss would say, bring out that jug and play the jug. And this was a jug that he played, and these are some of the instruments that they had the jug band. I never heard the whole band play. I was hoping somebody in here maybe heard. I've heard Jake play the jug many times, but it's really a neat piece of history associated with the Zerbies. Anybody here at the jug band? Anybody ever heard of them? You know, if you Google jug bands, they must have been popular back at the early part of the century. But it doesn't say much about. It doesn't say anything about this jug band. It talks about jug bands across the country. So take a look at this before you leave. I think it's a neat piece of history. The other thing I should say, the New Holland Band often played a gig. We played like 3 nights a week, and we always stopped at the Blue Ball Hotel afterwards to get some cheese and bologna. And there were some people there from New Holland that were bartenders. One of them was Sterney. He was the Iceman here in town. And of course, when the ice business went kaput, he ended up serving as bartender down at Blue Ball. And of course, then they had John Eberly, who lived near Weaver's bookstore down here in Blue Ball. And those were some, and Pearl Hillard, I forgot, wow, this was Jack Hillard's mother. She was there for years.
Yeah, she worked there when I did. Now, I'd like to just tell you a story about Sterney.
Stand up, please.
Stand up. Stand up.
Can you stand up so people can hear you?
Yeah.
And look over that way when you talk.
Brother that was in the Navy, and he had a bird, a minor bird, and he couldn't take care of it anymore, so he told Al Stern, he said, I'm gonna mail, or it's gonna come UPS. And he said, it's gonna be in a cage, and it talked. So this UPS driver pulled up, and I guess he stopped too short, and a bird said, "Watch your brakes." This guy's like, okay. No one in my truck. And he got out and he got this box out of the truck. And he set it down too hard. He said, "Watch how you set that down." Sterney came to the door and he said, "Here's your package." And it talks. Well, Sterney knew what was in it, but this guy that was driving the truck had no idea what was in there. So Sterney said, "It's a minor bird," and he said it talks. And that bird could imitate Sterney after he had it for a while. Sterney had some ham at the hotel, and I lived in New Holland. So he said, "Can you bring the ham up to my house?" And I did, and I knocked on the door. He said, "Come in." So I walked in, and Alice, Sterney's wife, was standing there. She said, "Who are you?" And I said, "I work with Sterney." And I said, "He just answered the door." She said, "No, he didn't. He's not here." So I said, "Okay." It was the bird. It could imitate his voice. And I thought it was Sterney, so I almost got into trouble. I just needed to tell you.
Great story. Thanks for sharing that.
Mike, can I tell the New Holland Band story?
Sure. If I can correct it as you go.
Well, we would often stop there on the way home and, you know, get caught up on the politics of the day or tell jokes or whatever. And it would always be late, so, you know, Floss and Jake would often come out and sit at the table with us and help us eat the cheese and bologna and so forth. So it'd get to be about midnight, and Floss said, "Now, Jake, it's time for me to go to bed." He says, and Jake would stand up and say, "Listen, boys, you can stay as long as you want to. Turn the lights out and lock the door when you go. And if you drink any beer, just put the money in the cash register, and it'll be okay." So that's how much he liked music, by the way, and he was a great friend of the New Holland Band. So I thought I had to tell you that story. So, a lot of fine memories down there.
happened more than once.
And are those the events that you refer to affectionately as prayer meetings?
Prayer meeting.
Yeah. Thank you, George. Anyone else?
In about 1883, Wallace from the hotel property there told my great-grandfather, Peter Shirk, that instead of building with his dad and brother in Goodville a machine shop, he should come to Blue Ball at the intersection of two major roads where commerce would thrive and grow. So he bought land from Wallace at the hotel and started Blue Ball Machine. He started with, it was Peter Shirk, it was a Martin, Shirk, Martin, and Weaver. And I don't know who the Martin and Weaver were. And then in June, I'm not sure when in June, it burned down when the sales stable burned down. And he started back up on his own in, I'm losing my dates here. When was the fire? No.
1909.
The original fire was 1886. 1886 it burned down at Blue Ball Machine, not with the horse stables. It burned down in 1886. Then he started in a 20 by 30 building on his own, Peter Shirk. So it's just a little bit of history that ties in with the Wallace land, the 12 acres. I don't know how that all came out. I don't know.
Thank you, Eric. And that's a new swinger that's talking here, if you don't know. That's a descendant of the guys and current runner of the place. Or at least semi-runner of the place.
Right.
Even though he got a new truck, which makes it very confusing.
You can't keep track of me. I drive a different truck now. Another little tidbit. Peter Shirk built a house in 1886 directly across from Rank Church Road in Blue Ball, the road that comes up past the bank there, Truist Bank. It's got a stone wall in front of it. If you don't stop at that stop sign, you're in my front wall. He started building the house in 1886, finished it in 1887. And in the diary, he says, I built the westernmost house in Blue Ball. So that's 1886. And then a year or two later, he talks about, I went into the woods to go to New Holland. There was nothing from there west.
Wow.
Until you got up to the Zemer Buick corner where the toll house was. So I can't imagine woods between Blue Ball and New Holland.
Anyone else? Speak now or forever hold your peace.
Back
Mitch.
on the livestock pictures, the George Bear, or the George Diller is my third great-grandfather.
Ah.
Also, in some of your slides that you had of Route 23, you talked about the sales stable. If you notice in all the old pictures, there are fences in the front of all the houses and gates to go into their entrance walks. They drove their horses, cattle, whatever, down the street. They'd have two riders out front that would close the gates at the properties as the animals were coming. And there was two riders behind that were driving it, and they just left the gates closed and drove on down to the sales stable.
They were coming from East Earl, right, from the train station.
Could be coming either direction.
Yeah.
23 to New Holland, you will find that there was pictures that had fences on both sides of the road in front of their properties.
It's nice to see so many Blue Ball people here, and I can't let the day go by without mentioning the Weaver family from Blue Ball. There's three of them. Paul, the father, collected Blue Ball photos, history, everything for many, many years. And his oldest daughter, Pat Carpenter, before cancer took her, sat down with her dad and they did a narration of almost all the pictures that he collected over the years. She was a very good friend of the society here, and copies of those pictures were donated. I'd also like to mention a third one, and that would be Annette, the second oldest daughter. She was the executrix of the estate of her parents, and she made sure that what was left of her dad's collection was donated here. We have it upstairs in the library on the right side, the bottom shelf, so if you're not satisfied with, you haven't had enough blue ball history here, go upstairs and look at some of the Weaver collection.
Thank you. There's some wonderful pictures in that collection. Just wonderful pictures. Anyone else? Okay, probably ran over, right? Oh, 3:59. See you, bye. Thank you very much for coming. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. And there will be another program in May 18th, which will be the kind of the dedication of the New Holland Band Museum becoming a part of the New Holland Area Historical Museum. You see some cases over there against that wall that have a little bit of stuff in them now. Mike's been busy working. These two rooms will have some more things from the band. So if that's of interest to you, we'd love to see you back here on May 18th.
May 18th.
May 18th. Thanks again for coming.
Thank you.